So here we are with another weekly abstract tip. It's a great question I got, and it's a little long, so I'm going to read it to you and then we're going to talk it through. The question is, how do I break my pattern of making landscapes and horizons and going more abstract? It always ends up being a horizon line or a naturescape. Should I embrace the fact that I love landscapes or push through and break the pattern? Have you had a similar experience? And have you had a similar experience to find your voice as a painter? Wow, that's a great question. Okay, so my first suggestion would be, well, are you tired of horizons and landscapes? They're awesome. I'm currently working on a horizon landscape, but I tend to struggle with this in a similar way. I love that some people can paint non-objective abstract art and somehow it is related to a landscape to them, but it looks nothing like it. And it's just really cool and just shows you how all of our brains work. Now, if you are tired of the whole just horizon landscape, just a line somewhere in there, then here's what I do in that case. So this painting here, you could argue is landscape-ish. In fact, you know, the horizon, I would say it's down here, and it's a little blurred up here, and this could be argued either part of the line or who knows, like part of the sky. So when I really want to get out of that, the first thing I'm going to do is flip my painting. And I'm going to paint like that for about 15 minutes. And usually I'm forced to destroy what I would see as a horizon line. And it becomes this confusing point, right? Where you're like, uh-oh. But that is exactly where we need to be if we want to get rid of the horizon line. I'll stay there 15 minutes. And you know, just to really get this in there, I'm right-handed, so maybe what I would do in that sense is, all right, I'm gonna paint with my left hand only, and it's gonna be in this direction. And I'll do that for about 15 minutes. And if I need to let it dry, I take it off and I let it dry, and then I'll flip it again. And I'll do the same thing, but with a different tool each time. So if I've used a paintbrush initially when I created that horizon line, I'm gonna use a spatula or a brayer roller or a trowel or a color shaper, anything but a brush. And that way you're insured. So a brush for the first time, right? A brush here, maybe that's what got me there because I'm so comfortable with using a brush. And then when I flip it this way, maybe what I do is take that spatula, and that's the only tool I use for those 15 minutes, and a water spray bottle. And then perhaps this way, I take a trowel, and I'm using a trowel, and maybe, just maybe, I'm taking something like this too, and I'm just in the wet paint, with the lid on, in the wet paint, I'm just scraping through and leaving markings. Now, if you follow anything like that and you leave it, let it dry, and you layer it, there is almost a guarantee that you will not have any horizon line. But the question goes on to say, should I, in fact, embrace the fact that I love landscapes, or should I push through and break the pattern? Well, you know, I think we as artists need to give ourselves that freedom. There are times in my painting journey, I started painting landscapes and on a more realistic level. And so I wanted to get more abstract, and I just couldn't figure out how people got there, like where they could paint things that are just non-representational, just shapes. I couldn't do that. But what I could do was start flipping. And I noticed that when I started doing that, I got closer and closer to those areas. And when I put the paintbrush down and I started using everything but the paintbrush, I also got closer to non-representational abstract. And therefore, if you decide that you want to go back one day to painting landscapes, because I'm guessing there's something innate in you, if you love abstract so much, which I do, then why does it have to be a choice? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you do some landscapes or horizons, very minimal, and then maybe it becomes an exercise about pushing ourselves to get into non-representational abstract. What you'll discover is you're going to start carrying over the non-representational stuff into the horizon landscapes, and they're going to become a lot more abstract than what they used to be. So if you want to start that journey, take a picture of something you've created already now and just archive it, and then start that process, and then see what that ends up being, and compare the two, and look at what progress you've made from the more horizontal landscape or realistic to a more transitional abstract. And this is a process that is not going to happen overnight. It's rather, think of it as a marathon, a growth, a development that we all go through as artists or even as people in life, because it applies everywhere if you really think about it. So try that. And then if you find something, actually when you finish it, if you post it, tag me. I would love to see what you've done, because I know it's going to be really passionate and involving and expressive. And that's exactly where you want to be.